Hey guys, welcome to the video. I'm 1442 Stuart, hope you're all having a good day. In today's video we're going to be doing it a bit differently. We're going to be asking the question about the new game, is it any good? The game in question being Hogwarts Legacy. We'll be discussing the game in 4 separate sections, which I hope will clear up and give out the most information regarding what I consider to be the most important parts of this game. If you want to see more content like this coming from me in the future, don't forget to press like and hit subscribe button. Let's get into the video. Alright, part 1. Combat. The combat in Hogwarts Legacy is fluid, with its ability to weave your basic wand attack with your skills, allowing an ordinary fight to turn into something you wouldn't expect, as in to drastically change into being able to float them over the edge of a cliff and turn them into a barrel and fling them off a cliff for no reason, other than you wanted to. The combat in Hogwarts Legacy is beyond fun, it's borderline addictive, with you constantly evolving ways of dealing with every single enemy type, your talent trees unlocking new levels of complexity to your customization. One of my favourite things that this game does is its ability to enact an actual dynamic fight without adding in cutscenes where you just smash square or press triangle, or you know the deal. When you throw an enemy across a battlefield, they will actually smash into other enemies, and that will physically affect the fight as it's happening. Barrels and carts get smashed by certain weight enemies, or they won't, depending. It's pretty hilarious to see, and there's much more. You can gear your character to do all the damage with one skill, or you can give it an overall buff to each skill you're trying to use. You can make your character spec towards potions. There's a whole bunch of different ways you can choose to engage in the combat and try and get it to be the way you want it to get done. Overall, I'd say the combat in Hogwarts Legacy is pretty good. Top tier. Part 2. Story. I'm not a player of single player games very often. I've played the big ones, Witcher 3, Skyrim and others, but it's not exactly where I spend the majority of my gaming time. But Hogwarts Legacy, for the first time in years, I found myself actually giving a fuck about what was happening in a game. Not to say it wasn't predictable and I didn't know that certain things were going to happen when they were going to happen, but even though I knew that these things were going to happen, I still saw it as a good enough story that it kept me engaged. Not to say it wasn't predictable, but you know, it is not the most appealing, it is probably one of the most appealing parts of this game. Even though I played as the most evil member of Slytherin anyone had ever encountered, they still managed to make you feel bad for stealing a moon calf or mind controlling a blind kid. I mean, it's good storytelling, I don't know what to tell you. Part 3. Exploration. The exploration in Hogwarts is quite a unique experience in and of itself, because there are spells that can maneuver the very environment in your favour for you to try and achieve your goal, or reach where you need to go. With the age-old invisible wall system, it's quite clear which areas are accessible and which ones aren't. Like with many other open-world RPGs, there are many instances of you finding a location, exploring it, then discovering a broken doorway or a locked door that's too high of a level for you to access. So, you know, you're forever plaguing your brain knowing that you have to go back there. With all of these things considered, the exploration is, again, another positive of the game. You never seem like, oh, this is the same as the last place, or this place is going to be the exact same to do, or although some of the puzzles do become a bit repetitive, like the Merlin trials toward the end, just constantly doing, it's not the same, but it's, you know, reskinned, same theory kind of puzzle. But you know, that could just be my personal peeve as well. Part 4. Customization. In Hogwarts Legacy, it seems to me that customization of your clothes, how you play the game, the choices you individually make, are all very important to what they were trying to achieve when making this game. Which is why I was so underwhelmed with the character creation part. It seemed extremely minimal, with barely any real drastic changes in your basic character model, and hardly any detailed level of customization. With that one negative aside, the other aspects of customization I mentioned are extremely in-depth, and really allow for the player to lose themselves in the fantasy of Hogwarts. Whether it be choosing to never learn any of the forbidden curses like some weird Hufflepuff, or learning them as soon as available and spamming them on every enemy you see. The game allows for you to do either. For that, which I think I appreciate for. There are so many transmogs for clothes, 30 to 40 wand handles, which are just like a little pimp handle for your wand, which is cool. And they don't do anything, it just makes your wand look cool, it doesn't change damage or anything. And to change any of these transmog options or these decorative options at any time is completely free. It costs absolutely no currency, it just happens, which is how it should be done for games like these in my opinion. And they really gave you the option whilst leveling to be able to customise your talents and your skills like as you level, so you could make it so your Accio, it pulls in multiple, which then you've leveled your Incendio to then do a big circle ring of damage, but later on in the game you will probably unlock those just by proxy, because you'll have enough talent points to spare that it would be weird, it'd be useless to not unlock those said points with those skills. All in all, I'd say Hogwarts Legacy is an outstanding game, 100% worth you picking it up and playing it. I guarantee if you're a fan of any of this universe or a fan of any of these game types like I mentioned earlier, Witcher, Skyrim, all the other big RPG games, if you're a fan of any of that and you play games like this and you like magic and dragons and shit like that, you're going to like this game. I'm not usually the most avid, normally RPG player. I'm more into my ARPGs or my first person shooters or more competitive, but this kept me hooked for like 3 straight days until I knew what was going to happen in the story or I feel like I completed it. This is one for you, as always. Thanks for watching. If you're new here and want to see more content like this, don't forget to drop a like, hit the subscribe button. See you next time. Peace.